Hello, hello. Welcome to Rooted Frequency in my crystal shop. I decided to do an episode where we record from here. There's some, challenges like being on a busy road. And it is lunchtime right now. We will see how it goes though. And I think that it's fun to feel the energy. And I will, of course, try to cut out background noise post-production. But I really wanted to show you guys around. And if you're not on Patreon and you can't see the video, you can just feel into the energy of the crystals. But I also was here and I was like, oh, I have to show you guys one of my favorite crystals in the shop. This is amethyst. Obviously, a beautiful amethyst, giant, sparkly, druzy rock. And most people are familiar with amethyst. I love it in this raw form with these crystals like this. There's just nothing more soothing and gorgeous. I mean, it looks like rock candy. Amethyst is associated with our crown chakra, since our crown chakra is violet, and it promotes spiritual enlightenment. So it's awesome to meditate with. And if you want to have that connection to highest self, connection to divine, it also can help really with sleep. A lot of people put it on their nightstand to get into that calm state. It kind of like, because of the color, it has like that lavender feeling to it. So that is why it has this soothing quality and it can support sleep. It also helps reduce stress and anxiety. Again, lavender, same kind of thing. You can know a lot about crystals with their color. If you learn the chakra colors and you also just kind of intuitively know what moods should be associated with different colors, well, you already know something about crystals. But did you know that it also helps you with emotional centering? It helps you with clarity of thought. It activates intention. So again, really good with manifestation. So if you do like a meditation and then you want to manifest, amethyst is your guy. And it also promotes positive thinking. So our amethyst friend will be here with us today while we record here in my studio. I'm not going to show you completely around. I want to do a separate Patreon episode for that. If you have not yet signed up for Patreon and want to do so, it's an awesome way to support me, to help this community grow. We have 2 tiers, one that's $4.44, and that one you get access to additional content and video episodes, so you would be able to see this episode, for example. And then also I will be posting additional meditations and shorts, like I said, tours around the crystal shop, my thoughts and musings, which of course, you want to hear, and all of that good stuff. Also, there is a other additional tier if you want to join that. That is for if you are craving community. If this podcast is speaking to you and you are one of my lovely people who signed up for a free 15-minute session with me to discuss whatever you wanted, it was not enough time, was it? So I thought, what better way than to do a Patreon? And for $8.88 a month, you can jump onto a once a month live roundtable discussion with me and this gorgeous community. And we can, shoot the shit. We can talk spiritual. I'll answer all of your questions. I will bring my oracle deck and do card pulls for you, 3 card pulls. This stuff has a great value if you're into that. So if you're going to take advantage of the mentoring, the community, the monthly readings, answers to your spiritual questions every month, it's a great deal at $8.88 per month. So join if you want. If you don't, then, like this episode, share it with your friends, grow the community, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And I still have the free 15-minute sessions if you'd like to sign up for one of those on my calendar as well. I am doing all I can to give back to the collective with the little free time that I do have. But, I really do enjoy connecting with you guys. I absolutely love this community. So I hope you take me up on one of those. Thank you again for joining in. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. And I hope people think about Patreon. Anywho, today we are going to talk about the Galactic Council of Light. And this intriguing group that is seemingly governing our universe. Have you heard of the Galactic Federation of Light, the Council of Light? And we're going to find out if you feel like you were chosen to incarnate on Earth by the Galactic Council themselves. So to tell you a little bit about them, the Council is made up of, it varies in what people agree on, but it's made of 9 to 13 members. I am going to talk to you about the 10 core members that are said to have started the council. I do believe that since then, other members have joined. So it'll give you a nice foundation to explore these things further. But they basically are a governing galactic body that oversees the dimensions of our universe. And it's made up of these collective, highly evolved beings, and they're from various star systems across the galaxy, and they're believed to oversee spiritual and energetic well-being of this universe. While their exact nature and composition is not entirely agreed upon by the entire collective, they're definitely unanimously agreed upon as benevolent entities, and that they are working towards the betterment of all sentient life. People have been connecting with them for centuries, and as of late, more and more people are finding it easier to connect with them. I myself have been able to connect with them, and I will discuss that a little bit more later in the episode. First, many people ask me, is there really this Galactic Council of Light that's governing our universe? I believe yes, with a caveat. I think that nothing is black and white, and I will never pretend to 100% understand the universe and know with certainty these types of things. I do believe that there is some sort of energetic group that is overseeing the universe and that you can tap into. Are they specifically called the Galactic Council of Light? I'm not sure. I think that when we tap into these types of energies, like when you meditate and you meet your highest self, or you go meet your starseed family, or you tap into your ancestors or spirit guides, that they appear differently to different people in order to resonate. We all resonate stronger with different ways that things can come across. If you really need to hear names and words, then you're going to. If you really pick up on colors and energies, then you're going to. If you need to see faces that you can associate with all of your spiritual team, then you can. All of these things are available to us. I think that it is a way to communicate with our human side of ourselves, and that it's not quite that black and white once we graduate to the other side and, once again, remember everything and get to be these beautiful light soul beings. Maybe we don't even have a form per se, maybe different dimensions, we take different forms. I think that we should always leave the possibility for anything. And a big part of that is when you listen to others, don't automatically go to the fact that they're full of crap. If they don't resonate, that's fine, move on. They may be meant to resonate with someone else. I'm not saying that there's not charlatans and, people taking advantage of others in this spiritual field. Of course there are. There are always going to be human beings that take advantage of other people. And that's why we are given that discernment and intuition to be able to identify people who are full of it and people who are really speaking to our souls. And there's so many different people that say everything to our souls in so many different ways that it's pretty awesome because, someone may listen to me and be like, I just don't like her voice, or I, just don't resonate with exactly what she's saying. And, there's tons of other people that you can access. And I think that there's always, enough people needing guidance and resources that there's a place for all of us to be teachers and there's a place for all of us to be students. So, in my opinion, yes, the Council of Light is very real. I believe they've existed since the beginning of this universal creation. When we incarnate into a human body in this dimension, we're experiencing like a reset. It's a cosmic amnesia. That's the reason why children seem so close to the other side and can see spirits and sometimes say things that are so profound it blows our minds, because they're kind of fresh off the boat, fresh, out of the cosmic universe, and can still kind of remember things. But as we go on, that amnesia becomes stronger until we decide to go through all of the steps to fully understand our awakening, to cultivate and nurture this energy so that we can really be all that we can be as soul beings. We forget that we are souls living in this multidimensional universe until we reach a certain space within our awakening and we kind of like feel that tug, that yearning that, hey, there's more and I'm meant for more and I want to explore it. So when we can't remember anything outside of this 3D environment, we have to trust that intuition. And I always say, like, if something starts to resonate and you want to learn more about it, go down that rabbit hole. So, with these higher dimensions, the Council of Light is governing our daily lives and basically the progress of us as a species. So we're going to start with these 10 members. They're like the inner circle, and you're going to recognize their names. It's meant to be as so, because we know our leaders here on Earth, and there are reasons that certain names have been trickled into stories and parables and the Bible and, spiritual tales and all sorts of things. So that when we get to this point, we're like, oh, I recognize that. So what do? This Council of Light. I already said they oversee our entire universe, but think of it like we're living this specific task oriented life, right? As a collective, we are meant to rise. So that means that we have to also have goals and evolution of the soul. And so when we all rise individually, there's enough energy to where we can rise collectively. They're meant to be guides. They're meant to work with our highest self, for our highest self to be able to consult them, to stay the course, learn the lessons, and gain the perspective. We choose this life and all of the things that come with it. And it is up to us to question who we are, to look our trauma in the face, to go through the dark night of the soul, to understand ourselves better and embrace this beautiful balance of dark and light that is us, that is the human being. I'm always talking to you about balancing out your human side and your soul, this beautiful light being inside of you. So with the Galactic Council of Light, we can kind of think of them as our elders who want what's best for us. And there's a few reasons why we call them the Council of Light. First, they're a council, they're this organization, but the light is so that we understand that they are loving, kind, and they are on the side of the light for the universe. There is sides for the dark. The dark has an agenda as well. And we are approaching and actually very much already in a battle of the soul with light versus dark. And it's simply going to become more visible as time goes on and more people awaken. When we look at enlightenment, there's all of these goals and soul lessons that we are trying to learn and achieve and rise above. And when we reach a certain point of enlightenment, where we've basically completed, they think like 98 to 99% of all of our soul's goals, which there's a lot. That's the reason we come and incarnate so many times on Earth and in other dimensions and other galaxies, because we have so many things. And so we have to come as different people in different statuses, different bodies, different things that we need to achieve. We can't just address them all in one life. But once you go around, the sun enough times and you incarnate enough times and you learn enough lessons, you can become this being of light. Which is why we're going to talk about these 10 soul members. And it's often thought that there are now 13 to 15 members on the council, because other beings have come to that elevated place and earned a spot on the council since. So where do we come from in relation to this council? Like I've said before, there's a lot of different schools of thought on this. I'm going to share with you the one that resonated with me, and I'm hoping it resonates with you. If we think about the creator or creatrix or source, right? Source created all the universes, but we live in a multiverse. So numerous dimensions, numerous universes. And I believe that our universe has this universal mother, and that it's a piece of the bigger source or God or oneness, but we're all kind of connected. So you can think of it sort of like a family tree, and that we all derive from the council. Many people think that our universe was started by Athena, and Athena is the architect of our universe. Whether Athena resonates with you or not, you can think of this also just as like the mother or God. Maybe you think there's only one universe and you can take pieces of this. There's something for everyone to learn from it, I believe. But at the beginning of time, let's just tell this parable. So Athena decided she wanted to construct the universe and that the environment that she wanted to create needed other souls. So Source gave her 144 souls to help. These were 10 members of enlightened beings to be an inner circle and a number of direct descendants. These descendants have evolved and started other galaxies in many different respects. But for today's lesson, we're going to focus on this one. So these 10 souls that were direct descendants sort of Athena, it's sort of like, a piece of Source, and then Athena with her attributes were kind of split off, right? In order to achieve things, in order to get things done. Because as we've already said, we have to come back as different types of people over and over and over again to achieve things, because there's no like one type of person that can do this experience and shove it all in and cram it all in. So it would make sense that even to oversee these things, that pieces and, parts of Athena's personality were, and interests and abilities were put into different elevated beings. And then we in turn descended from these 10 members of this inner circle, this Council of Light. So just as in our human families, we inherit qualities of the particular being that we descend from. Our own descendants at soul level inherit qualities from us too, and so on. So it's, a soul tree, this family tree of souls. And no matter where we start on the soul tree, the end game for all of us is the same: to learn all of the lessons from each branch of the tree, presided over each of the 10 senior council members. And we do this by incarnating life after life, both on Earth and in other places across the universe, between lives. And we also learn in a more formal way in the higher dimensions when we get to lose our cosmic amnesia. So when you resonate with one of the branches, it doesn't mean that that's the only branch that you check boxes off of and learn from and go through lessons and gain qualities. We go through all of them. And over time, we complete these various learning, you can think of them as modules, until ultimately we can be the same enlightened being as these council members, and eventually as Athena, if you keep rising up. And for my religious people, I don't think that this is ever saying that we are trying to become God. I do think that some people try to achieve that. I think it's more of believing in a oneness, and that if your soul can evolve to the highest potential and point of love and understanding and existence, you're in this energetic bubble with Source, with God. So I think it's helpful to go through these 10 senior members of the Council of Light and explain their responsibilities in order. So they are numbered, and it's kind of thought of sort of like a structure related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But one isn't necessarily greater than the other. It simply is of a higher evolved dimensional frequency. And hopefully that makes more sense as we go through them. the council members at the bottom of the ladder concern themselves with areas relating to like more security and physical things. And then as you go higher, it's more like self-actualization and transcendence and unity and light and oneness, which just makes sense from a awakening growth, path potential. In actuality, every aspect of life and being that the council represents is equally important, and they all depend on one another, similar to us here on Earth. So we'll start with number 10, Shakti, religion and society. So Shakti is a goddess, and you probably recognize the name. Goddess Shakti, beaming down from the sky in a halo of gold and light. She's a Hindu goddess and very senior status goddess. On the council, she's responsible for religious and societal systems, the way people behave and interact as part of a whole. She likes structure, she likes rules, and as a personality, she's known for being very clever and has a slight streak of impatience. So if we think about this kind of tiering, why is she on, the bottom of this tier? Well, she's an insanely powerful soul, very elevated. But if you think about the dawn of human civilization, the way we frame society, one of the very first foundational requirements is to learn how to organize ourselves into groups to be able to survive. Societal structure and belief. It's a natural thing from the second we are born to try to make sense of the world and understand the meaning of why we are here. What is this universe? So Shakti represents some of the most vital foundations of civilizations. Number 9, Saturn. Saturn is a carving god, as well as the name of a planet, and also in Roman times known as the god of seed and sowing. So Saturn's area of jurisdiction is foraging, agriculture, and husbandry. Makes perfect sense when you think about that hierarchy. Because once tribes start to grow, we need to think about, well, how am I going to survive? How am I going to feed myself? So you need to form an agricultural society to have constant food and provide and have the world provide this abundance, and we must have an understanding of that. In terms of character, Saturn is very popular in the higher dimensions because he's peace-loving, jovial, and prefers the simple life. Number 8, Agamemnon. Agamemnon is in Greek mythology. You probably recognize this name as well. Agamemnon was the king who commanded the Greek armies in the Trojan War. He is in charge of men, leadership, and war. Personality-wise, he's very forthright, does not hold back his views, and likes to take the direct route as much as possible from A to B. He has responsibility for a few areas, so that leadership, monarchy, dictatorship, war, sport, dogs, hunting, the physical body, and men. So you can see that those are what we consider in today's society to very much be like these masculine traits. So think about that and these like patriarchal traits, and also the progression of our society. As society was very much once a very patriarchal society. Women not having rights, women not being able to vote. So as we go through these, you'll kind of see a correlation with this rebalancing of the genders and a lot more power coming to the female sector of society. And I am not talking about sexes right now, but energy. We all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine. Number 7, Mammon. You may be familiar with this because it is a term used in the Bible to represent an entity that has to do with wealth, and that is very appropriate because Mammon looks after bartering, commerce, financial institutions, and money. Also, energy. And it's not just our energy, but energy systems of all kinds. So, material energy like oil and gas, but also non material energy like the flow of cosmic energy through our chakric system. So, again, masculine energy here. So, it is very much thought that we're kind of coming to an end of this masculine phase where, like, there were a lot of people descending from Agamemnon and Mammon from that tree, or even if you didn't descend from that tree, when we talk about ascending and going through the steps, our souls needed to experience that very masculine energy in society to achieve certain things, to check those boxes. But we have progressed. We are very much kind of coming towards the end of this mammon phase. And in the future, the emphasis is far less, and we can see that as a spiritual society, that we are not as worried about accruing wealth and far more about like what's good for the collective, what is good for the society. Mammon's character, as you might expect, given what he is in charge of, is a little ostentatious. He enjoys a little bit of display, but he's also very kind and generous. But all of the council members are. Number 6, Michael, the archangel. I know you're familiar with him. Michael's very active in this Earth project and has a specific responsibility for helping people that have awakened and helping them through the early stages in particular. He stands for order and is quiet, discreet, very intelligent, and has a dry wit. Michael has this very caring and protective role over mankind. That's why he's easier to connect with than many other archangels and council members because he has one foot on this earth. He's very involved. He's concerned with societal development. He looks after institutions, the way our government is structured, policing, IT, technology, engineering, building, architecture, and those related areas. He's often teaming up with other council members to help them deliver on their own projects because he's about this structure. So even if another council member is trying to implement something else, structure is vital in these things. So he's very busy. He's one of those council members that more and more people have said that they are making contact with. He likes to come in dream form, meditation, or another form of trance, and is said to be 12 feet high. So you may see him if you're lucky, but in my experience, I feel his energy. So I've connected with Michael very often in meditation, and I feel his presence, and it's big, and it's like nurturing, like these big wings coming around me from behind, and strong in stature. If you have not connected with Michael yet, I suggest doing so because it is, again, one of the easier energies to tap into. He's here all the time. And if you've tried and not succeeded, try again. It's a practice. You don't have to be perfect the first time. Number 5, Isis. Isis is very popular because, like Freya, who we introduce next, she's fun-loving and humorous. And in these higher dimensions, everyone loves Isis and Freya. Isis looks after the metaphysical arts, healing, sex, death, spiritual transformation, cats, the energy body, and women. She's deeply caring and is a council member who loves to teach. Many people right now who are incarnated on this earth working as teachers are descendants from the Isis branch of the soul tree. Now, Isis has a counterpart, Agamemnon. Isis is very occupied with things we consider to be female in our society, this female energy. And we can feel this shift as we're at the beginning of this Isis phase in Earth's history, where we're seeing this shift towards a more spiritually driven society rather than the things and the masculine. And this will continue to grow as Earth beings attain more and more enlightenment. And as a whole, as a collective, we keep rising in frequency. Number 4, Freya. Freya, like Isis, is fun-loving and humorous, but she's a little more quirky and can be kind of eccentric. She looks after the visual arts, including all of the traditional arts, crafting, painting, sculpture, knitting, carpentry, and so on. But she also looks after visual media, TV, theater, film. And she has all aspects of design, so fashion, beauty, but she is very much about diversity, individualism, and self-expression. So even if you think about all of those things about art, about fashion, there's so much more inclusivity and diversity. So Freya is actively working and moving into this Freya cycle. A lot of souls who are descended from Freya's branch struggle to live a conventional life or a 9-to-5 existence because of your creativity. We're moving through this Freya stage right now. And she, with Isis, these two members of the Council of Light, are spearheading the next phase of this Earth project. You can see Freya's influence all around if you look for it, with increasing acceptance of diverse segments of society, and the stress and importance on individuality and honoring one's soul and creativity. There are a ton of souls incarnating right now who descended from Isis and Freya branches of the soul tree, who have specific missions to cover. And they're not all women. They're going to be men and women because, again, we're talking about the masculine and the feminine, and we have both within us. Number 3, Sophia. Sophia represents ultimate wisdom and is responsible for justice, the law, language, literature, philosophy, science, math, education, and other cerebral stuff. She looks after the plant kingdom, and she created her team very early in the stages of Earth's history. She's very, high up on her ascension. Sophia represents both divine feminine and what Christian tradition refers to as the Holy Ghost. The direct link to Sophia has been obscured over centuries by the patriarchal church, although she is still very much revered in Gnostic tradition. And she is very wise. She's direct, pragmatic, and at heart, she's a logician. People who are quite pure expressions of Sophia tend not to pull their punches, which can cause problems for them in the sensitive lower dimensions. So people who descend from the Sophia branch often are projectors in human design, very much about analysis of society, seeing better ways for them to move and grow. They have a thirst and hunger for knowledge in every single sector. They are often a little stubborn. So, like, one of the things to achieve in this lifetime is being a bit more diplomatic and not trying to do everything themselves. She is exceptionally kind and tolerant. So, like, don't think she's like the stubborn, all of the council members are, but also nothing phases her. She's very steadfast in who she is and certain in her knowing and her way of doing things. I have, like I said, connected to the Council of Light twice now. And the first time I went, I was greeted by Sophia. And it was pretty incredible. I didn't speak with any of the other council members, it was just directly with Sophia. And I have gathered that I am from the Sophia branch. And also, if you've listened to my human design episodes, I'm a projector and I keep pulling in other projectors. So I do think that there is a very big role for Sophia right now with all of these Isis and Freya incarnates on Earth, and that Sophia branches and Alm, who is her partner, which we will talk about next, these are lighthouses. When I talked about lighthouses, if you haven't checked out that episode, go back and look at it. But I believe that these are the lighthouses of the Earth Project right now. So and Sophia are heavily invested in human race success and devote a lot of energy to helping us progress. So that would make sense if you were in a position where you're trying to spiritually assist in the rising of the collective. You could perhaps be a descendant of this Sophia branch or branch. Now, this next level is going to be a joint number 1. Now, I know we just said 3 with Sophia, but number 1 is kind of 2 sides of a coin when we talk about balance of light and dark. Okay. So, joint 1, his name means love and Jesus, directly derived from actually, from this branch, which makes sense. This Jesus love, this light, the highest evolved that a soul can be. This is where religion talks about this God energy, this God light, like actual source, actual God is much higher than that. But I think it's just also to help our human minds comprehend, So this is very much a divine masculine, but loving presence. And I like that those two go together because a lot of times we think love is only associated with the divine feminine, but it's not. So Sophia represents this ultimate wisdom, and represents ultimate compassion. And these two work together. Everyone, of course, loves because he's gentle, patient, but he's also responsible for higher emotions like compassion, kindness, humility, forgiveness, and charities, the animal kingdom, and children. One notable characteristic of souls that have descended from is that they love all animals and often end up working with animals and rescuing animals. So not just that, I love all animals, but people who are so giving and selfless and end up, working in shelters or animal rescue foundations. They make excellent leaders, people from this branch, and are very good with business. Also, loves cooking. So one of the cool ways to connect with is by cooking something from scratch and doing it in a mindful way, thinking about your ingredients and doing it in kind of a meditational way. If you can free up your mind in meditation and have that intention to connect with Om, he does like to pop in, and it's like quick little tips that'll fly into your mind, and it'll feel very intuitive, very natural. Make sure you have a journal to write them down. Sophia and Om are partners and typically work together. And after the Isis and Freya phases that we're kind of like moving through right now, we will eventually move into this Sophia and Om phase. And that's when we are going to be in that fifth dimensional, all love and light phase of the human race, when we are truly enlightened. So I said Jesus was from this branch, also Prophet Muhammad and Krishna, all descended from Om. Now, significantly, Om and Lucifer, whom I talk about next, are twins. They are two halves of the same coin and are gently working together in this kind of like balancing act, right? So we talk about balance all the time. If there's light, there has to be dark. So it's like they're a coin. Two powerful souls in the universe. At the moment, Om is actually the head of the Council of Light. But soon, the authority will switch to Lucifer. And this isn't a scary thing. This is part of the progression of the human race to get to this ascended place. So let's talk about this joint number one, Lucifer. People have been programmed to worry when they hear this name. But the Bible also does acknowledge that Lucifer is an angel. There's this bad reputation as he's been demonized, but he is, some would argue, more powerful than Om. And I'm not saying dark is more powerful than light, because if you understand what I'm saying, Lucifer, in terms of the council, is not dark. Lucifer is still a light bringer, a light being. Lucifer is very important because without his influence, the human race cannot attain their full potential. The things that we've been told are meant to diminish his power and diminish his name. Now, what does Lucifer look after? Well, it's a little bit chaotic. So chaos, rebellion, freedom of thought, self-actualization, and music. And if you think about your own ascension and your spiritual progression you've gone through or are currently going through, there's always this time for rebellion. There's a time when your life feels upside down, chaos. People leave your life. Everything's kind of exploded. And only out of that chaos can true beauty grow and true self-actualization shine. Because that is what leads us to this love of individuality and true freedom of thought and understanding of oneself. So Lucifer looks after music, rebellion, dissent, teenagers, perversion, addiction, and devilment. Now, when we say looks after, Lucifer is not concocting these things and putting them in us. Again, if we think back to what I said, these are all pieces of us, regardless of what branch. If we keep going up the branch, we find one being, and then, with all of the other galaxies and universes, then again, one being, source, God. These are things that are within us. Lucifer looks after them. And you can see why the religious establishment wants to suppress him and have us be terrified. I'm not suggesting that you go out and immediately start summoning Lucifer, but I am suggesting that a well-rounded understanding and knowledge base of yourself and the parts of you, the light and the dark, and the governing forces are important to your growth. Lucifer is a very beguiling character, so much charm, so much charisma, and very confident, sure of himself. Some would say arrogant. Lucifer does not like to follow the rules or be told what to do. He carves his own path. Do not worry if you start to receive contact from Lucifer or feel like you want to do a meditation. It could be that you're just a very, very old, powerful soul. Just understand that that's very different from a religion that worships a entity that is not the highest entity. Do you see what I'm saying? Instead, an understanding of how it all goes together in this beautiful planet and this beautiful human experience. But we can work with all of these entities and all of these energies while strengthening and harboring our own light and growth. So those are the core 10 foundational members. There are additional ones that have risen to levels that they have gotten to come onto the council as well. And if you do a meditation to meet the council, again, make sure you have your journal. You're going to want to write down your experiences, and you may need to do it several times in order to really come back with something that makes sense, or maybe it's going to be pieces that all come together. But there's so much information that you can receive from these elevated, enlightened entities about why you are here, what you are meant to do, and understanding your spiritual awakening. And you can access this information directly yourself. Often the council member you first meet is usually the one you descend from, or again, you could be from another branch, but you're here working on another branch, so it could be a guide. So, again, nothing is set in stone. Maybe this isn't quite as black and white as that, but it's something worth looking into to see what you can bring out of it. So sometimes the Council of Light will try to contact you. How do you know? So it may be dream, meditation, trance, or you could receive synchronicities around a certain name. You keep hearing Freya over and over and over again. One way that the council members reveal themselves to us is by sending us birds. So this could be in real life, or, sometimes it's also easier in your meditation to ask for a bird to present to you to understand which branch you descend from. So we're going to go over those birds now. Om is doves and pigeons. Lucifer challenges us and shows up in the blackbird. Sophia, our goddess of wisdom, the owl, particularly the snowy owl. Isis, crow or magpie, as Isis is waking up mankind. Freya, summed up with the arts, artistry, the eagle, the soaring eagle. Number 6, Archangel Michael, this protective role during transformation and awakening. He's everywhere, so small birds, sparrows, robins, bluebirds. He's very boots on the ground. 7, Agamemnon, masculinity, patriarchy, government, the hawk. Number 8, Mammon, banking, finance, barter. The peacock, all about material things and being showy and standing out. Number 9, Saturn, the domestic fowl. And number 10, Shakti, religion through showing you the parrot. So, again, back to your soul family, because you probably are dying to know, which branch do you derive from? Well, who do you believe you derive from? Which one resonated? We all descend from 1 to 10 beings, these members of the council who descend from the architect, the creator. We naturally carry the gifts of the member we descend from. These are innate traits and gifts, and also can represent our desires, what we feel pulled to do. Our human avatars can often change the core self. We give ourselves different personality types to challenge us. And shedding of the ego essentially sheds the shell personality to get you more in line with your true soul divination. The closer you are in the soul trees, the more alike you are in vibration, as the like attracts light. So these are the people in life that you just vibe with. Each soul has a core center vibration unique to you, like a fingerprint, but yet as we vibrate out, we're going to find like beings to work together to achieve similar missions here on Earth. And you're partnered with various souls, usually for like hundreds of years, because a lot of our missions and projects are not achieved in one lifetime. And that's why like you'll meet someone and it feels like you've known each other forever, because you do. You've worked together for hundreds of years. There also can be like a group of people that maybe you're very different from, but yet something about it feels right and you guys get stuff done. You like to work together. Well, maybe this is your soul group meant to work together to achieve something very special. Now, there's also this connection to starseeds. If we're talking about these galactic beings, starseeds, if you haven't listened to my starseed episode yet, are individuals who are believed to have originated from other star systems and have incarnated on Earth to fulfill a specific mission. Often described as carrying the energy and wisdom of their home planets, and their presence is thought to contribute to our planet's spiritual evolution. Well, the Galactic Council of Light is believed to have a profound connection with starseeds, as starseeds are very old souls. So the Galactic Council can more easily connect with them and choose them to carry out specific tasks or bring a certain energy or vibration to Earth. And the Council often will provide guidance, maybe intuitively, to support the starseeds on their journey. Some believe it's easier for these starseeds to receive direct communication from the Galactic Council, either through dreams, visions, or intuitively. And this connection can provide a sense of purpose or belonging, especially, in this human body where we have a lot of challenges. So while starseeds are key players in the Earth's ascension process, everyone is. As a starseed, you can use your unique energy and abilities to contribute to the raising of the planet's vibrational frequency. And it also can be very helpful to identify people around you, like attracting like the people you're meant to work with. And if you can kind of get a sense of what branch they derive from, it also gives a wonderful indication of your purpose, because now you know what these council member branches specialize in. So through love, compassion, and unity, starseeds can help create this harmonious and enlightened world. And by knowledge, through knowledge and understanding of how the universe works, again, we'll never completely understand, but having a better understanding and asking the questions and exploring, you can better align yourself with the people and souls that you are supposed to get shit done. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve individually and collectively. We're always working on ourselves from within and also working on ourselves in terms of society, where we fit in and what our bigger sense role is. And I hope that this gives you something to work off of to better understand that, because all of these little knowledge pieces and the rabbit holes we go down all work together to kind of piece together the puzzle of why you're here, piece together the puzzle of your purpose, your mission. And as a lighthouse that's honored to have you listening to this, I hope that I can inspire some light in you to go out and do giant, great things. We are all supposed to be talking about these things, whether in a small way, but we are supposed to impact each other. It's supposed to be a trickle effect. So while you think maybe something as small as sharing this podcast to your friend who mentioned something and you're like, I think that they would really resonate with this. You aren't just like sharing a podcast. You are maybe awakening something within them that they need to hear to help them understand their purpose. And collectively, you are helping steer us towards our mission of an enlightened world and elevated dimensional society. Nothing is small. Every single thing we do has purpose. There's a reason you're listening to this. And I'm so excited to have our little community grow. Join Patreon if you'd like, if you feel called to do so. I really want to get this community thriving and have us be a voice together. Have these monthly roundtable discussions so that we can vibrate at a higher frequency to pull more people in, to wake more people up and spread this message that needs to be shared and told. It's a step in your mission here. Once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me in the Crystal Shop. I am hoping that post-production, you don't hear all this stuff in the background, like the trucks, because I'm on a busy road. But it was fun though. Like with this energy, I don't know, like I feel super energized to be in here. I feel like, I brought you guys in here with me. So can't wait to see you again next week. And if you're on Patreon, I'll be putting up some bonus content so that we can continue to touch base. And, anybody, like my info is always available to you in the show notes and stuff. Throw me an email, connect with me, reach out to me on social media. I'm here. So I love you all. And I encourage you to go shine your light and grow. Love, love, love.